Omagyanatimirandasya Gyanam Jadasharakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jainam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jainam Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gona Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavari Pashtatyani Shatarine. Okay, let's start with this. What is the supreme question we should all ask ourselves in our life?
What is the supreme question?
Yeah. The perfect question, the supreme, perfect, transcendental, absolute, magnificent question we should all ask ourselves very deeply.
You mean as devotees or as a human being?
As devotees, yeah.
Who is Krishna, who is Srimati Radharani, and who are we?
Yeah, who are we? Yes. Do we ask ourselves this question? When we chant, do we ask ourselves this question? Who is Radharani? Who is Krishna? Who are we? We are the soul, but we are someone. We're not impersonal. We're not Mayavadis. We're to be devotees, because Vaishnava is a very deep thing. But we're meant to be a Vaishnava. So these are questions we should ask ourselves. Otherwise, what is the goal of our life? If this is the most important question, then what is the most important goal of our life? Is it to cook? Is it to distribute books? Is it to preach? Is it to do puja?
Become a Brajbasi.
Yes, to become a Brajbasi. That's what Prabhupada wanted of us. Yes. So, in everything we do, we should, when we wake up in the morning, it's very important. We should know, why am I in Krishna consciousness? Why have I been practicing for the last 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Why am I waking up at this hour, early morning, when the birds are starting to chirp? Why am I chanting japa? Why am I associating with devotees? Why am I doing service? Why am I being initiated? Do we ask ourselves? Or is it just like an automatism? It's just an habit? I have to chant japa, I have to wake up at this time every morning. I have to chant japa, I have to read Prabhupada's books. So yes, we need to have a clear understanding of what we do. And why that goal is important, because we need to put a feeling in the heart. Why do we do things in life? What is our inspiration behind everything we do? How is it that we do things every day? We keep doing things, no? It's very important. So, because whatever goal we have in our heart, that's what we will follow. That's what we will attain. So what do we want in life? We have to ask ourselves this question. What do I want? So that's why, yes, it's all about understanding what we're meant to become and who we are really. This will affect completely our life. You remember we're saying that according to Ramanujacharya, he wrote a book on psychology of devotion, and he said that the feeling completely predominates over the thinking and the willing. Why?
The feeling is close to heart.
Because feeling is close. Because feeling is what drives us, no? What drives a rich man to become multimillionaire? He has a feeling for his money. Don't you think he has a lot of feelings? Too many feelings for his money. But it's the feeling that is driving us. And whatever feeling we have in the heart, that will affect our thinking and our willing. So what feeling do we have? That's important. What feeling do we have in the heart? Will push us in a certain direction. Will push us to think and to desire in a certain way. So that's why, do you remember Prabhupada's books? I mean, if you are reading Prabhupada's books, what is he saying all the time? You are not this body, you are the soul. Why does he say that? Is it just the basis of life, or is it just like, something secondary? To understand that we're not this body is something that is really deep, actually. Really deep. To understand that we're the soul is even deeper than that. So, yeah. Actually, everything comes from the desire. There's a verse in the Vedas that says that liberation comes when we desire it. So like you were saying, Mathuranath, if we desire to become Brajbasis, if we desire to become real assistants of Srila Prabhupada, then what does Krishna do? Yatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vatmanuvartante manushya partha sarvashaha. So whatever way we reciprocate with Krishna, Krishna reciprocates with us. So if we truly desire to understand who we are in our eternity, then Krishna, out of that love and affection for us, and Srila Prabhupada, are bound to give us their blessings and mercy so that we can realize who we are really. But we need to desire it. So we should ask ourselves this question first. Do I desire to know who I am really? Why am I in Krishna consciousness? Why have I been doing all these austerities all these years? What is the reason? What is my goal in all of this? I mean, do I actually understand what is my goal? It's very important. So do I desire this? If this is if we have asked ourselves this ultimate question, so do we understand that goal and do we cherish that goal? Do we want to attain this? Is that a priority in our heart? What is the priority in our heart? Whatever priority we have, that's what we experience in our life. If you desire love, you will receive love. If you desire fame, you will receive fame. If you desire power, you will receive power. But if you desire Krishna, you will receive Krishna. So that's how Krishna does. We should have faith in this. And I can assure you I can definitely assure you that Krishna reciprocates with our desires. And if you have a sincere desire to discover who you are and your relationship with Srila Prabhupada, then they say my connection but volume is very low. Could you check?
What's low?
He says that the volume is very low.
Okay.
Sham Sundar is saying that. Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah. Yes, so we need to have clear understanding of what we are meant to become in life. It's really important. Because this will change your life completely. And this will determine also if we will attain perfection in this life or many lifetimes also.
How about
Because-
now? Shams in the boo.
It's better? Yeah, he says it's better now.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yes, you know, it's really important. Because if it's not the goal in our life, then, you know, what will we attain then? What do we want to attain when we leave our body? Do we ask ourselves these questions also? Okay, what am I doing now? Okay, first of all, what you are now? How come you are in this body? And you have this nature, you have these impressions, these desires. You were born in a certain environment, you were able to associate with devotees. How come you are in this situation right now? Where is that coming from?
Wanting to be
Because of
separate from
previous
Krishna.
Sorry?
cases and
Desires from past life.
Yes, desires from past life, exactly. Desires from past lives. So isn't it what you do now? Won't it determine, just like what you did in your previous life, completely determined what you are now? Don't you think what you're doing now will completely change your future? Completely? So that's why actually we should think about that. But it's not being pessimistic, it's about accepting life. We die to live and we live to die. So what you do now will completely transform your destiny. So that's why what you do now is really important. So we should ask this question, what am I doing now? And what I'm doing now will completely change my future. What you're doing now will change your consciousness for the rest of your life. What you're doing now and for the next 40 years, 50 years, whatever age you are, will determine your consciousness at the time of death also. We should think about this. What are we meant to do in this world? You know? That is the final test. And we have to prepare ourselves. But actually, by accepting that, we live more fully. Why?
Because there is clarity and priority is also set by them.
Yes. We have a better clarity of what is the goal of our life.
We understand that we have limited time.
Yes, exactly. We have limited time, and just like Prabhupada said, time is so precious in Krishna consciousness. Time is so precious, so we should not waste it. Definitely, we need balance in our life. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. But in that balance, we need to put our priorities at the right place also. It's really important. Anyway, where is the source of our satisfaction? Where is the source of our happiness? Where is the source of love, of beauty, of qualities? It's Krishna. It's Krishna. So that's why anyway, our true happiness and satisfaction and our true experience of life is with Krishna. So it's not that we, okay. Why is developing a relationship with Prabhupada and Radha and Krishna not a sacrifice? Why is it
the
not
need.
why is it not an austerity? I wanted to give you the answer, but I want to.
Because it is a need.
Because it is our need, yes? Anything else?
It's full of pleasure.
It's full of pleasure, no? Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure. There's a nice booklet. Have you read that one?
we enjoy more.
Sorry?
We enjoy more in
We
Krishna's
enjoy
company.
more in Krishna's
Yeah.
company. Krishna, remember, Krishna says, this world is a fraction of my splendor, is a blink of Krishna's eye. This is this world. So that's why we have to turn to Krishna. If we want to, anyway, if we are looking for happiness, whatever desires we have, it's to feel satisfaction and happiness in our life and contentment. We want to love, we want to be loved. That's natural for the soul. But do we want to love and be loved in connection to Radha and Krishna, in connection to Srila Prabhupada? That's the thing. Do we desire in connection with them? In connection with our reality? So that's why we have to do things in connection with that desire, that goal. And then our life will be so much more meaningful, so much more substantial. There will be a true meaning in our life. There will be a very special direction. And it will give us deep inspiration also. Because we have to understand one thing is that our true satisfaction is with Krishna. Why? Because our relationship with Radha and Krishna is our factual reality. It's not a dream. It's not a dream. It's not a fairy tale. It's not something you read in a book. Okay, today I will read Krishna book because it's nice. No. It's nice because it's your reality. So we have to think about this. We just don't want to do things because we have to do things, because we're in a mission and I have duties towards my spiritual master. No. What Prabhupada said, I want you to... What did Prabhupada ask us, really? I want you to develop love for Krishna. So that's our goal, develop love for Krishna. So how can we develop love for Krishna if it is not the goal of our life? Understand? How can we fulfill Prabhupada's desires and need for us if we don't put that at the center of our life, developing love for Radha and Krishna? So that's why we should distribute books, we should do puja, we should preach, we should work, we should take care of our family, of our kids, we should educate our children, but to develop love for Krishna. Everything has to be in connection with that. And then it will bring true meaning in our life, true purpose. And then we will be able to experience the true joy of life. Because Krishna is the source of everything, all attractive. That's why his name is Krishna. His name is Krishna because he's all attractive. Yes. So are we attracted to Krishna?
Yes.
Huh? Are we attracted to him?
Yes.
We are, but anyway, we're always attracted to him because, he says it in the opulences of my opulences in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. Anyway, everything, I'm the fragrance and the flower of bodies of water, I'm the ocean of mountains, I'm the Himalayas. So, yes, we have become too much sensitive to the externals, and we have become completely insensitive to our reality. Completely insensitive to Krishna, to his world. Do we want to receive Krishna's world in our heart?
Yes.
Do we want to experience the sweetness of Braj?
Yes.
Jai, thank you for your enthusiasm. I love it. So yes, yes, do we want to receive that in our heart? Are we looking for that sweetness?
Yes.
Is the sweetness of Raj the most important thing in our life? Is developing love for Radha and Krishna? Do we want to understand who Srila Prabhupada truly is? What is our relationship with him? What is our relationship with Radha and Krishna? It's there. We're just not conscious of it yet. But do we want to wake up to this? Because this is a dream. Do you think this life is a reality? Do you think this life is a true reality? Huh?
It's temporary reality.
It's a temporary reality. And we engage it in the service of Krishna, and for that, it becomes a reality, because Krishna is there. And definitely that is good. But we have to use that to go deeper in life. For example, there's only so much you can find at the surface of the water. What can you find when you're on the ocean? Sometimes there's some algae. But where are the jewels?
At the bottom.
They're at the bottom. So we have to go deep. Guru Govinda Maharaj said that. We have to go deep in Krishna consciousness. It's really important. And then we won't feel confused, bewildered, lost, misunderstood, that we're lacking something. What we're lacking is Krishna. We lack Krishna. We lack love for Krishna. That's what we're lacking. It's not that I don't have money, that I don't have this, that I cannot have this relationship, or I don't have this position. No. It's because we don't have love for Krishna. And that's why Prabhupada said, I want you to develop love for Krishna, because we don't have it. And it's the most important thing of our life. So we should ask ourselves the right questions in life. And we should truly understand why we are in Krishna consciousness, why we got initiated. What does it mean to be truly a disciple? What does it mean to become a Vaishnava? What does it mean to fulfill Prabhupada's desires? It's really, really, really important. Otherwise, that's true. And this, we should be really attentive to that. We can spend our whole life being attached to the externals of Krishna consciousness and lose the main point. Prabhupada did say in the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 21, that we can experience joy in Krishna consciousness, thinking that it is bhakti, but it is just the enjoyment of the false ego. Just the enjoyment of the false ego.
Can you give an example?
Yes. So basically, in the heart, there can be two ambitions. There can be a personal ambition, and there can be a true ambition of the soul to serve Prabhupada, to serve the spiritual master, Radha and Krishna. So we have to be conscious of that. Is when I do things, is it a personal ambition? Or, personal ambition meaning like to want to fulfill certain material desires. For the sake of satisfying our false ego. Because there's a subtle satisfaction in satisfying our false ego.
It's like being close to the spiritual master and serving his body for
Yes.
fame and
Yes.
recognition.
Yeah, exactly. We serve the spiritual master, but what we want is something material. We want personal satisfaction, we want a position, we want recognition, But not in connection to our reality, to the true desire of the soul. So it's normal for the soul to want to love and be loved. That's completely natural. It's normal for the soul to want satisfaction. But disconnected from Prabhupada and Radha and Krishna, then it is a problem, definitely. So is it a personal ambition, or is it the true desire to serve? Then there's a difference between the two. You had a question?
Yeah, well, I was listening to one of these classes of Srila Prabhupada where he mentions that there are only 12 rasas, and in each of those rasas, in whatever rasa we are, we have to find our connection, our relationship with Krishna.
Beautiful.
Because no matter in which rasa you are, you always have to find your relationship with Krishna in all the rasas, because he abarks all the rasas.
Beautiful. Yes. So that's why your factual reality is a relationship with Radha and Krishna. It's not a joke. It's not something far away. It's your true reality. And are we hankering for that? Are we crying for this? If we want to truly chant the holy name, we have to chant with feelings. And if we want to receive feelings in our heart, we need to be eager to understand who we are. Because it will make you cry in the heart. I want to understand who I am. I want to be with you, Krishna. I want to be with you, Radharani. Prabhupada, I want to know you. I want to receive you in my heart. It's really, really, really important. So when we chant, with what feelings do we chant? Do we really chant? So whatever goal you have in your heart, whatever desire, that's what will manifest in your chanting also. And if we feel we don't have taste, it's because we don't have the proper desire in the heart. Otherwise, chanting will be very inspiring for us, will be very nourishing, will be a deep experience also. So that's why everything we experience in Krishna consciousness or not depends on our desire. Whatever desire is in my heart. Whatever goal has been established in the garden of my heart, on the throne of my heart. That is what will give us our experience in Krishna consciousness. So we should not go look any further. This is where we have to act. really. And we have to do something about it. We cannot stay like this for the next 40 years. Otherwise, what will we experience at the time of death? What will we have in our heart? What will we have cultivated in the garden of our heart for the next 40 years?
If we have that many years, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So, that's true. Okay, let us think about it for a sec. For whatever time we have spent in Krishna consciousness so far in this lifetime, we have been in a certain way. Where did that bring us? It brought us somewhere.
Yeah.
But is that enough for us? Don't we want to go deeper? And what we have been doing in the last, many years, do we still want to continue like that, or are there things we need to change in our life? No. Are there things that we need to change so that we can actually go deeper in our spiritual life, so that we can get a deeper realization of who we are, deeper experience of Prabhupada and Krishna? So we should ask ourselves today. We always need to ask ourselves questions. That's really important. Without introspection, there's no spiritual progress. Definitely. Without introspection, we don't go nowhere. We stay where we are with the limitations that we have. Because how do we progress really? We spoke about that the other day. How do we truly progress in life?
Following Guru's instructions.
Sorry?
Following Guru's instructions.
Yes, exactly, definitely. Something else? Ooh, that's a tough call today. What is the sure way to progress in spiritual life? Think about it for a sec. We spoke about it.
Developing the right desires.
Yes, developing the right desires. But it comes in the association.
Mhm.
That's why association is so important. If you feel you don't have that desire in your heart, then you have to associate with Vaishnavas who have that desire in their heart, who have that experience, that love. Then, by that association, it will come to you. It will come in your heart. So that's why that's why this is really so important. Because when we realize what we need, what we don't have, then we will seek the proper association. And we'll seek it in a particular way. And that's when we will want to truly associate, because I will feel that person can help me to develop love for Krishna. And then we will be eager, we will be sincere, and we will be attentive when we hear. Because we'll know that person can give me love for Krishna. This is really precious. So that inspires us to take proper association, but to associate with our heart, because our heart is longing for that. I see that that person has love, and I'm longing for that love, so I need to get closer to that devotee. I need to hear sincerely so that I can receive that in my heart. Just like in the 4th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, very beautiful verse. The Vaishnava, when he speaks, they're like particles of saffron that are coming out of his mouth and that are entering in our heart, in the garden of our heart. It's very beautiful. So, yes, when we understand what we're lacking and what we need to do, then we have a direction in our life and we have a goal. So how can I attain that goal? What do I need to do? And then we put ourselves into action sincerely. Otherwise, because what happens if we don't ask ourselves any questions? Actually, we won't even realize that we don't have love. And we think we can spend our whole life like this. Why? Because we've spent millions of lifetimes like that and sensitive to Krishna. So what is another life, even in Krishna consciousness? That's okay, I'm initiated by my spiritual master. I'm chanting my rounds. I'm doing this and that. I'm reading Prabhupada's books. That's all right. I'm a devotee. I don't need to do anything else, I can just continue like that. But no, it's never enough. Why is it never enough?
Because love for Krishna is also unlimited.
Yeah, love.
Krishna is unlimited.
Yes, love for Krishna is unlimited. So that's why it's never enough. We cannot be complacent with Krishna. This is material consciousness. What is it?
Complacent in Krishna.
Yes. No, material consciousness means we're stuck in the mud. Understand? Mode of ignorance. Avidya. I'm stuck in the mud and I don't move and I'm feeling good. And it's chewy, it's very cushy. It's very soft, it's warm, it's comfortable, it's oh, it feels so good. We're happy. That's true. It's like I'm good. I don't need to do anything else. No. As long as you don't have love for Krishna, you have to do something. You can't just stay like this. Anyway, what happens for eternity? Even Krishna himself, Prabhupada says that in the second canto of Bhagavatam. What does he say? Because Krishna's qualities are unlimited, his beauty, his qualities, they expand. And because of that, he has to expand knowledge about himself. And there's a competition in between perceiving and understanding his own qualities and the expansion of his qualities for eternity. That's the same thing between his love for his devotees and their love, the reciprocation of love. It increases unlimitedly. So that's why. Do we think that we can just stay like this doing, I'm all right. This is material consciousness. That's all right, Like we've been used to do. I have my little job, I can do this. I have my house, my wife, I have this and that. That's good. I'm settled for life, no? So, but this is the difference between internal and external. What is it, Siddhari? What is the difference? What makes us, when we're in the externals, that's all right. It's good, In the externals, like, I have a good life. Everything is all right. But what makes it internally that it's not all right? Understand? That's why we have to be internal in our spiritual life. Otherwise, we will be complacent and we will be lethargic, passive in our devotion. It's very important. So what makes the difference?
A desire.
A desire. And why is the internal the essential aspect to go deeper and more sincerely? Because, it's a very simple answer. Because we are the soul. Because we're the soul, we are not this body. So if we become complacent in the externals, even of our devotional service, even of our services, but we're the soul that is meant to love Krishna, that is meant to have an eternal relationship, that are meant to have an identity with them, then how are we gonna understand? We're the soul. So if we want to truly experience Krishna consciousness, because we're the soul, we must do something internal. Internal means we have to go inside. When we chant, we have to chant with our soul. It's not just I'm chanting. My lips, just like Bhaktisiddhanta, my lips can move. I can utter the sound. It's good. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. No. Why do we chant? Why do we chant?
For pleasure of Krishna.
For the pleasure of Krishna. And what is the meaning of the Maha Mantra?
Oh Radha, oh Krishna, please engage in your service.
Please engage me in your service. So, are we conscious of that when we chant? Prabhupada gave us that definition. It's so simple, huh? So when we chant, do we think, oh, please, Radharani, please, Prabhupada, engage me in the service of Krishna? Do we think like that when we chant? It's so simple, But it's so deep at the same time. Whatever Prabhupada gives us, it's so deep. It's like, please Krishna, please Radharani, engage me in the service of Krishna. Do you know how deep this is? Radharani, engage me in the service of Krishna. This is the perfection of our soul, It's the true expression of our life, to do service, to be engaged by Radharani in the service of Krishna. So you want a deep meditation? Just use that. Please, Radharani, engage me in the service of Krishna. This is so deep. Engage me in the service of Krishna. So deep. Krishna consciousness is so deep. But at the same time, it's so simple, It's like, think about it. Did you ever cry in your life? Huh? Everybody has cried, and did you know? Did you ever sacrifice for someone else? No? We all have done that. We know what it means to love someone, to sacrifice, to serve others, to put someone else at the center of our life, to put someone else in our heart, for those who have been in love, or for mothers or fathers, we put our child in our heart. No? So we know how to do it. So that's why Prabhupada said we have to dovetail. No? We have to dovetail. It's very important, dovetailing. we have that propensity to love, to serve, to put someone in our heart. So why don't we do that with Prabhupada, with Radha and Krishna? We can do it because we know how to do it. We just don't want to do it. We know how to do it. We have been doing it for millions of lifetimes. That's what have kept us here, actually. Our desires, our relationships, our attachments, our sacrifices, our efforts. I've done so much. We're attached, for example. I won't say his name, but there's one Swami. He will give mantras for money. And I knew one devotee. He became a devotee later. I mean, it must be in his 60s now, maybe, end of his 60s. Anyway, he received a Krishna book in the 70s. And, but it took some time, then he got this mantra. He paid $3,000 Canadian for his mantra. And when he started to come and associate with us, this was in Fredericton in New Brunswick, like the Maritimes, eastern part of Canada. And he said, like he was telling me, like, I like your mantra, it's beautiful, the Maha Mantra, but I have paid $3,000 for my mantra. And I feel I still have to chant it. I paid so much money. I said, yeah, okay, you can keep chanting, but you can chant the Maha Mantra too, it's free, So you can chant both. If you're attached to it, you can chant. No, I mean, I didn't want to stand it. He was attached to his $3,000 mantra. No worries, but chant the Maha Mantra also, So it's like, yes, we have, that's true, huh? Think about it. We have that same mood. It's like, I have put so much energy into this. I can't just let it go. Or I can't just offer it to Krishna. I can't just do it as a service to Krishna. It's so precious. I've put so much energy, so much money. I've invested so much of my time and heart. I can't just give it to Krishna. That's true. So no. It's like we know how to do this. We're expert at it. We're the soul. And that's why, we can just keep, we know how to do it. We just do it for Krishna. That's it. We don't have any excuses, really. Because we know how to do it. We know how to love. But we just don't love don't put Krishna as the center of our life so that we can express love to him. That's it. There's nothing else but that, We're the soul. So through this body, we engage this body, we engage the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, the false ego. But how do we engage it? Do we engage it with the sensitivity of Radha and Krishna, of our eternity, our true reality, our real identity? Because then it changes everything. Because if you associate with being an assistant of Srila Prabhupada, an associate to be of Radha and Krishna, then it will come in your daily life. It will come in your japa, it will come in your services, it will come in your mind, in your thoughts, it will come in your desires, and then you will not be separated, whatever you do. So that's why this feeling of true identity, actually, how you identify yourself, it changes all the rest of your life. So you have to ask this question, how do you identify yourself? And the identification that you keep in yourself will be directing your thinking, feeling, and willing completely. But like you were saying, Maturan, if you identify with being a Brajbasi to be, then what will that do for you? Understand? Yes.
Maharaj, isn't it arrogant to think oneself a Brajbasi while one is very far away from it?
Is it arrogant to think you're the soul?
No, but Brajbasi is not necessarily the identity of every soul.
What is the soul?
Eternal servant of Krishna.
Okay, but what is the soul?
A spiritual
Satchitanand.
element.
Okay, but what is the soul?
What then?
Part
of
Krishna.
Okay, but what is the soul?
Avrajvasi.
Yes, that's what you are. You know, that's what you are.
Well, I mean,
So-
it's not the case for everybody that they are necessarily every spirit soul is a Vrajvasi.
That's true. And the way that person will feel differently in his heart or her heart. That's not a problem. I know. For example, I know a devotee, a Prabhupada disciple, she told me she wanted to become a bird, a parrot in Vrindavan. That's interesting. I appreciate that. It's beautiful. Someone told me that he was more attracted to Narayan. That's beautiful. No problem. It's different for every person. Yes, not everybody is a Vrajvasi, but everybody is associated to be of Krishna or his expansions. Yes. So is it a problem really? Why would it be a problem for you? Is it a problem for you?
Well, I mean, for me, it seems like that I'm overstepping what is my current status, how and current consciousness. That's why it seems to me a little bit arrogant from my part to assume that I'm that.
Okay,
And
I
I'm very far
understand.
from it.
Okay, that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling. Yes, it's good to feel that we're far away from this, that we're not qualified. But we should desire to understand who we are. You know, we should understand. Actually, what you say is very important because this is your true qualification. Why? Because it will make you cry. It will make you cry, and crying is our qualification. What do we have? Brahma said that. What do I have after what happened with the Brahma Vimohan Lila? What do I have to offer you, Krishna? So what can you offer to Krishna? Your intention. That's what you are. This is part of you. Krishna cannot take that away or cannot. It's yours. The only thing you are is the intention because you're the soul. The soul desires. So the intention, if the intention is there, that's all right to not feel qualified, to feel this. But we should ask ourselves questions. And if we feel, what is it that we don't cry for this? Is that we have become insensitive to ourselves. If we're insensitive to Krishna, naturally we're insensitive to ourselves also. Understand? It's connected. Because our soul is completely connected to Krishna. We are Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke. Jiva Buddha Sanatana. No? Part and parcel of Krishna. So that's why on the way to Krishna, on our way to understanding Krishna, we understand who we are also. But if we feel we don't have that in our heart, then we should cry. Because what's the goal of your life? A spirit soul, what is our goal? Do you think the spirit soul is longing for something else than that? The soul is looking for love. But we just think that love is in something separate from Krishna, separate from a relationship with Radha and Krishna. So that's the thing, So it is only natural to desire to understand who we are. And this is something legitimate for us because we are the soul. It's normal to feel unqualified. It is a qualification because it will make us cry. But this is the true legitimate desire of the soul, to understand who you are. And to desire it is something that is completely natural and legitimate. Because that's what you're meant to become, that's what you are really. For example, will it be a problem? Like if someone is in the body of a man or a woman, you say, oh, you are a man or you're a woman. Is it a problem? Or that, if I'm speaking materially, like, okay, I accept that I am in the body of a man, I am a man. It's not a problem, understand? We won't feel bad about it, like with this matter, okay, I'm a man, or do you understand? It's not like something weird. It's like, no, okay, I'm in the body of a man, I have to do this, I have to do that. So I'm a soul. What do you have to do as the soul? Understand? I am the soul, I have to do this. That's my need, that's my necessity, that's my goal. It's just we have become too much insensitive to our soul. And this world is a world of externals. And that's why we when we look about our true reality, our true identity, we find it is something that is very far away, or that is really complicated, or that is impossible to grasp, but actually that is not true. Because that's the true nature of yourself. It's the most natural thing for you, but you think that it is not natural. You think that it is complicated, that it is not accessible. But it just, we have become insensitive to our true nature. And because of that, it becomes complicated, actually. But the more you accept your eternity, the more you accept your identity, and the more it becomes a natural aspect of your life, because that's what you truly are. That is your true original identity. So being yourself is not a problem. Understand? Mm-hmm. So in this, we feel, like in the same with this body, I feel I'm myself. That's not a problem. I accept that I have this identity. We feel good with that. And we fully engage ourselves with that identity. Well, that's the same principle with the soul. It's not different. But it's just, are we accepting that we need, that's what we, there's two things, what I need, what I want. Do we understand that we need to understand who we are really? Because that is the true experience of our life, the true expression of ourself. And that's the true experience of the soul. So that's why, yes, it's good, and you should continue to ask yourself questions about it. Why is it that I'm feeling like that? Why is it that it is far away from me? Yeah. Yeah, please.
I think there is also the question of adhikar, because based on adhikar, our application of sadhana variegates. So
yes.
There are, on the other hand, someone who may prematurely, we see sometimes there are groups, there are devotees, they try to conceive of something that they're not ready for. So I think it's also not encouraged to take a step beyond how we can actually apply ourselves. So I think the key here is the desire, the principal aspiration is completely healthy. And where one will be able to actually implement that will depend on many factors, including adhikar.
Yes, that's a very good point. So we're speaking about the qualification, how we implement, how we interact, how we engage that in our life is depending on our qualification. And that's a very important point, actually. And we have to understand where we're at in our Krishna consciousness, This will help us to develop humility and tolerance, and it will help us to see how we can move forward according to where we're at. But at the same time, we should understand what is the goal. It's not that we want to go over our lack of qualification, but we want to move forward understanding what is the goal. This is very important. Whatever qualification that we have, if we understand the goal, we know how to move forward. Even though we don't feel qualified and we don't feel we're there yet, if we have the goal, then we will want to move in that direction. And it will become dynamic, and we will want to be active no matter what is our qualification or not. So that's why it's really important to understand the goal. Because then it doesn't matter whether I'm qualified or not, but I know that's what I have to do, and I know that I have to endeavor for it. I know that I have to desire, that I have to cry for it. And this will be our impetus. What is the sole qualification for pure devotion according to all of our acharyas? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur expresses that in his Madhurya Kadambini. What is the sole qualification for pure devotion? Laulyam. Eagerness. But that eagerness comes the more you question yourselves and you meditate on the importance of this goal in your life and how to attain it. That will also generate laulyam. And when you associate, because although we may not be qualified like you were saying, if we associate with devotees that are qualified, then it increases our adhikar also. Because association changes everything. Back in the Madhurya Kadambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti says that bhakti, it comes from the heart, it is transferred from the heart of a Vaishnava to the heart of another Vaishnava. And he said it's the same thing for Raganuga Bhakti, pure devotion in the footsteps of the Brajbasis. If you associate with a devotee, a Vaishnava who has Raganuga Bhakti in his heart, then he will transfer that Raganuga Bhakti in your heart. And then you will have that laulyam. So that's how we receive that lavyam, when a Vaishnava plants the seed of Raj Bhakti in our heart. And then we desire for it because we have an experience of it by associating with that Vaishnava. So that's why it's so important, association. And that with, if we feel we're not qualified, then again, because our goal is to go towards pure devotion, then I know that I have to associate more. Because I'm lacking something. And it is good. Unqualification is not a problem. It is the impetus to change, to be more sincere, to endeavor more deeply. Because we're meant anyway to attain perfection. It's just a question of time. Just like Prabhupada said, only time separates us. I love that. Only time separates us. We need to have faith. But if we understand the goal, then even if we don't feel so much qualified, we will want to move forward in that direction. And that will be a dynamic impetus by which Krishna will want to reciprocate with us. Even though we're unqualified, He will give us the qualification by our sincere desire to obtain it. So there's hope for everybody. Because Krishna is merciful. Yes. So anything else? Yes.
Acharya was mentioning the topic of adhikar. So my question is, if someone is attracted to a particular rasa of the Lord, but maybe not doesn't necessarily have so much adhikar due to the kanishta or neophyte nature, what's the safe way to lean into that rasa?
That's a very good question. Association. Because association completely. Because when you associate, for example, you were speaking about a specific rasa, whatever. Let's take the example of, for example, we spoke about the sakas in the past. You know, if you feel like an attraction towards the sakas, you know, in sakaras, then if you associate with devotees who have a deep experience of that sakaras in their heart, by associating with them, what's important in this is that when it becomes something so natural, you know. It is such a natural thing for them, but that associating with their natural feeling and experience of sakyaras, then that natural feeling will come in your heart. It will become something natural for you also. This is the power of association. Just like bhakti comes in the heart, rasa comes in the heart also. It's the same. So that's why Rupa Goswami says the principle number 1 of Sadhu Sangha is to associate with like-minded, more advanced devotees. Like-minded can be understood in terms of preaching, but in terms of rasa also. So if you associate with devotees in which their feelings of Saka is natural for them, the relationship with Krishna's Sakas is natural, then that natural experience will come into you and it will become a natural thing for you also. Although you don't feel qualified. This is the power of association. Does that answer your question?
It answers my question, but I guess one comment I have is that
Yes.
this kind of association is quite rare.
Yes. That's
So
why we, yeah.
I guess one actually recognizes this inner desire. I guess the first step would be to pray for that association.
Yes. So that's the first thing. There are other aspects also. But first thing is association. Because you cannot express what you don't have. Understand? So if you feel you don't have love for Krishna as a Saka, then you have to associate with those who have that love. Because then they will put that love in your heart. You know? So that's the first thing, association. It transforms your nature. And if your nature is to be a Saka and you associate with Sakas, I mean those who have Sakaras in their heart, then you will develop that nature in your heart. That's the first main aspect, association. Because the more we associate with them, the more we receive. That's the power of association. And then when we cannot associate with them, we have to see how we can nourish that mood of Sakaras. So that means reading, for example, the Spireo Bhakti Rasarnava from Nayanandana Thakur, a book on the Priyasakas in the mood of Sudam Chandra, one of the Astasakas of Krishna. So by reading that book, chanting japa and meditating on that book, one receives, nourishment on Sakaras in his heart. So that's a very good thing. So you have to, just like Rupa Goswami says, so gradually also we receive a certain attraction towards a certain Brajbasi or a certain Saka. And then we want to hear more about that Saka. And this develops our connection with that Saka also. So that's another thing. But chanting and hearing is very important. And also, I would say, before even association, there's a desire that is there. And we have to recognize that desire. And then that desire is also deepened and nourished and becomes materialized by the association of someone who has that true experience of Sakaras. And then it becomes a substantial reality in your heart also. And it will nourish your japa, your hearing, and so it's like that. It's a dynamic. When you're not in the association, you try to get as much, even sometimes listening to classes, things like that. And then reading books on Sakaras. And also, I was saying the first thing before, the desire. If your desire is there, and if your desire is to become a Saka, then you put that at the center of your heart. And everything you do is meant to become the Saka that you are in eternity. That will be very dynamic for you. It will, nourish your desires, your feelings, your thoughts, what you do in your daily activities, and then it will give you a direction. And everything you will do will be in connection with that desire. Even something external, or even something like, whatever, brushing your teeth, or taking care of cow. It's a service to Krishna. But even brushing your teeth. Do you think the Brajbasis, they don't wash their teeth? How do they brush their teeth? First meditation of the day. How do the Sakas brush their teeth?
They take a small twig from the tree.
Yes, they take a small twig from the tree and so when you brush your teeth, you can think about that, Are they baited? When you take your bath, you can think about this. Do they cook? Do the Sakas cook?
No.
No? Okay. So what do they do then? They eat. So, they don't cook. So when you cook, you know what they will receive from their mothers. So you can meditate on that, Everything can be a meditation. But if you need to have that desire, I want to become a Saka. So how do I think about the Sakas throughout my day? How do I serve? How do I brush my teeth? How do I take my bath? How do I associate with others? How do I love? How do I chant my japa? How do I do my puja? But in connection to that desire of I want to be a Saka.
Sometimes because of circumstance, maybe some service or some reason or another, we're taken out of association of these like-minded devotees. So at that point, what do we do to continue nourishing that feeling and sentiment? Is it just basically what you said?
Okay.
Reading and
Yes. We should cry in separation. We should cry in separation because we need it. What did Sanatana Goswami said? The greatest suffering for him in this world was, Siddhari?
Separation from the Vaishnavas.
Separation from the Vaishnavas. So we have to cry. Because we need it. I know I cannot live with a certain... personally, I know I need a certain association right now in my life. And I cannot live without it. It's not possible for me. Otherwise, I will feel a lot of separation. I will cry a lot. So, and that separation pushes me to always be in the association of devotees. So separation is good because in separation there's meeting. And separation is increasing the desire to meet and arrangements will be made. Either by the Lord or yourself. Okay? I feel it's been a long time. I have to associate with devotees who have Sakaras in their heart. So, yes. Yeah, association is very important. Does that answer you? But crying in separation, I would say it's very important. But you have to stay connected. And sometimes you feel that you don't connect, so you cry. And then connection will come through your crying. Because Krishna, He is not indifferent to your crying. And He will make arrangements in your heart, in your external environment, so that you can stay connected to that nourishment. Definitely. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mine is a comment to Prabhu's question too. So, recently, Mesam Siddhar Prabhu, he had this seminar from Haripashit Prabhu. He
Yes.
mentioned about the sadhana bhakti and raga bhakti. And then he did clarify that how Brajvasis have the raga bhakti, and then we can actually follow because they have intense greed and then we can only follow them, and we become Raganugas actually, where we can do Raganuga Bhakti. And then all the Vrajavasis have all the rasas. And then, like Prabhu said, one can consider himself, hey, I fall under this category, I fall under this rasa, I can be like that. Then who actually confirms that, whether it's true that you're in that or not, then Prabhu did mention that your guru is the one who can actually, like, you know, authority to that actually. He can reveal you how to him, and he will confirm, okay, these are the symptoms, and then he will actually reveal whether they are, like, you know, mere attraction or are you ready to fall into that one. And like, he can even guide you actually what to do to develop or nourish your rasa in that notion. Then that's the point I just want to mention. That's what I heard too.
That's a really important point actually. So the guru, you know, can reveal to you, can help you to understand more clearly who you are, and can guide you in that direction, can nourish you in that direction. But the guru has to be qualified. It's not because our guru is our guru that is necessarily qualified. I will speak to you from my personal experience. I have a Diksha guru, and I had Shiksha gurus also in the past. But I was revealing my heart needed to be guided in a certain way, and I could see that they could not perceive and understand what was going on in my heart. And that's why I was looking for many years, I was crying in my heart, in my japa, for Krishna to guide me to a guru that could fully perceive what is in my heart, would be sensitive and will be able to guide and nourish me in that direction. So sometimes, if our Diksha guru or Shiksha guru, for that matter, you know, wherever it is, we feel connected with, if he's able to do that, then we're very fortunate. And if he's not able, then we have to cry in our heart. And that's why I would say, when we progress in devotional service, that's why there's a need sometimes, depending on our guru, but sometimes there's a need for Shiksha. And it is something that is completely natural. We feel we were nourished by our Diksha guru for a certain, you know, in a certain way, but we feel at a certain point, we need to be nourished in a different way, in a specific way. And for that, there's a particular association that we need. And it's not a problem. It's not an offense. We need to progress. And that's why the Diksha guru or the Shiksha guru, if he feels even as a Shiksha guru that he cannot give us anymore what we need, it is his responsibility also to bless us, to take a Shiksha for someone who can give us a deeper guidance on what we need. Because from personal experience, I have revealed my heart and could see that there could not be a heart-to-heart connection in that specific aspect that I needed to be guided and nourished. So that's why it's gradual, and it can happen for different devotees that we may have sometimes need of a specific shiksha, especially if we need to be nourished in a certain rasa, and we feel that we cannot be nourished in that specific mood of devotion. Then there's a need to take more specific association. So that's why, you know, in the Vaishnava world, there needs to have space for that in the Guru, so that they give space and freedom for the devotee to go towards certain Vaishnavas that will inspire them to follow the true desires of their heart. Something that is really important, because love means to give freedom. Love means to give freedom, because what does Krishna do with us? He gives us freedom, and that is love. So giving freedom is really important, especially when we need certain association in our life. Very important. Yes. Does that answer? Yeah? Thank you for that comment. So, anything else? It's past 9 o'clock. Dear Siddhahari. Anything online? That's good. Okay. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai the assembled devotees ki. Jai. Jai Siddhahari ki.
Maharaj ki.